Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know if you can hear me and see me, if you would. I'm sorry if anybody was confused by the title on the YouTube site this evening. There was a problem with the getting the artwork up. In fact, there was a problem getting it posted too over on Patreon. But anyway, yes, I understand the confusion that Walter brought up. And that, hey Andrew, how you doing? And John, Phil, Gary, Art. The issue was with well, let me go back and tell you a story. How about a quick story? I had to run out this afternoon to go to the pharmacy and pick up a prescription, and I got stuck in a line and then got stuck in a traffic jam and just got back about an hour ago with 2 hours of prep work to do for tonight. And when I logged on to YouTube, there were about 20 people waiting for me an hour early, and wondering why I was late. And I don't know if that was last week's chat or this week's chat, but it put me in a tailspin trying to get everything done. So somehow the old artwork was up for tonight's thing, but I very quickly made a new one, and that's the one that's up there now. So this is Macro Talk. It is Tuesday the 24th. It's 8 o'clock in the evening, or it will be in 3 seconds, and we are beginning our live stream. Any questions? I don't think so. You can hear me, you can see me, and the beard is coming along quite terribly, I think. What we're going to be doing from now on, every time we get together, whether it be on Tuesday or Thursday, I'm going to cover a topic briefly, just the topic that we're going to be talking about in a coming video, or one we just had in a video. And I'll open the floor for questions about what we're talking about. Today's actually a couple of products and some issues around them. And yeah, and then we open up the whole thing to whatever you want to talk about. So this is just so that we can kind of plan around it, and later on we can index these in case you want to go back and watch them to get some information if there was some good information in one of these. So tonight, what I wanted to talk about, because it's come up several times, I've had two overriding requests that I get more than any other. One is, when are you going to review the Micromate from WeMacro? The Micromate is the machine that twiddles the knob on your microscope so you can focus stack on a microscope, and it's a wonderful device. And I had actually written to WeMacro to tell them I had made one, and I showed it to you last week actually. I'd made one, and I was just asking them a few questions about the software in the controller. And of course, because WeMacro is WeMacro, and they just operate on a higher level than most of the other companies around, this arrived in the mail yesterday, day before yesterday. This is the Micromate. So we are going to be reviewing the actual device. This is a very nice setup, and I just wanted to show it to you, to introduce you to what the various parts are, and then we'll be doing the proper review in due course. I'm going to take this thing off because it rattles. But and you're probably going to know more about this than I do at this point, because I haven't even plugged the thing in and given it a try. The key parts of it are a stepper motor that's actually a 0.9 degree stepper motor. It's a 400 steps per revolution motor. That's a very precise motor, and it's exactly what you want when you're controlling the fine focus adjustment on a compound microscope. And this is the piece that does the work. This cool thing tightens around the knob of any microscope, and this attaches of course to the shaft of the motor, and this is held up on the stand like so you can position it wherever you need it. And yeah, it's a very interesting, very well made, very nice piece of equipment, and I cannot wait to give it a bash. It comes with all the cabling that you need and all the other bits and pieces to make the thing work. And yeah, I'm excited to try it. You know, there's only one thing that's missing, and that's a microscope. I have now lost 3 auctions. I think I may need to be more flexible in my willingness to pay for a microscope, but I bid on 3 and haven't got one of them yet. But as soon as I get one, I'll show you how this works. And if I can't get one this week, I'll make something up. I'll go buy a cheap one and do that. But one way or the other, I'll get this set up to where I can show you exactly how it works, because we're going to be using this a lot in the springtime when we get into our diatoms and start doing some compound microscopy stuff. So that was one of the things I wanted to tell you about. Don't ask me what these things are. I have no idea. It's very cool looking, but I don't know what it is. But I will. Before I tell you about it, I'll have been using it for a while. So I'm super excited. Thank you to William, and I wish all of our Chinese friends a very happy and festive and safe and prosperous new year. We certainly appreciate your supporting our macro community, don't we, guys? Yep. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was this. Can you see that? You can't see that because, hang on, I'll focus. That doesn't appear to be getting any better, does it? The print on it is very small. This is the remnants of a bottle of Decon 90. And Decon 90 is a very poorly understood but very helpful chemical that we use in macro photography. Now, I have been sent a bunch of different articles about this stuff, and my opinion has been sought. So I thought I'd take just a few minutes to tell you what this stuff is and what it's used for and how we use it in macro photography and why it's so good. None of it's rocket science, but it does. I think it does surprise people. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about my Decon 90 distribution program, because somebody just got in touch with me over on Discord, said they wanted one of my giveaway bottles of Decon. Well, I'm out of giveaway bottles. I'll do this part first. What I do is every year or so, I'll either buy or a bottle will be donated. This was donated by Mr. Allan Walls, a generous supporter of the show. He bought me this liter, and I kept 100 cc's of it and distributed 900 cc's to people who didn't have any and wanted some. And it's a first come, first served thing. I announce it when I get it, and then I send it out until it's gone. I keep 100 for myself, and I dilute it down and keep it in the bottle. So that's what you're looking at. Now, I don't have any right now, so if you're looking for some, now would not be the time to get in touch with me, because I have to have it to be able to distribute it. I try not to get a waiting list going. It's more of a spur of the moment thing. So if on the Decon 90, if you're interested in a bottle, I will announce it here. This is where I will tell you when I get some. If you have a bottle that you want to donate, it wouldn't be donating it to me, it would be donating it to all the people who can't get it for whatever reason. You have to be in America. I can't send this stuff overseas. But if you have a bottle, or maybe you have a 55-gallon drum of the stuff outside, and you could ladle some out. If you were to do that, I'll do all the mailing and the bottling up and shipping and everything. That's what I've done all along. I'm happy to do it. Or a volunteer can do it. I just want to make sure that everybody who wants it gets it, because if you've never used this, it's just magical what it does. Let me tell you what it is. It's a mixture of a very, very strong detergent. It's actually basically lye. It's a sodium hydroxide solution, and it's very concentrated. This stuff will burn your skin, and it'll do a chemical burn all the way through. I mean, it's as dangerous as a bottle of concentrated nitric acid. It has a pH of about 14. So inside there are a bunch of other surface acting agents, things that make the chemical or make the mixture a very, very powerful cleaning agent. By cleaning agent, I mean it will lift particulate matter out of clothes, off skin, and off anything, basically. It has molecules in it that are polar. The one end of the molecule has one charge, the other end has the opposite. And the molecules kind of surround the dirt, and it will pull the dirt out of the solution so that it'll fall off, basically. Very, very oversimplified. But that's how this works. But it's so strong. It's not like dish soap or washing up liquid. This stuff is really, really concentrated. And you don't put this on anything. Insects, people, anything, the way it comes in the bottle. This is as caustic as drain cleaner. What you do with this is you dilute it to about 2%, sometimes 5% if you need a strong... Do you know what they use it for? Decon. It's in the name. Decontamination. When you accidentally set off a nuclear bomb in your garage, and I know how embarrassing that is when you do that, I feel sorry for you. It took me years to get over it. What they're going to do is the people in the hazmat suits are going to show up at your house with hoses, and they're going to hose you down with a stream of this stuff, about 1% solution, because it will lift all of the radioactive dirt and dust off of you. And that's what fallout is. Fallout's the radioactive material that's in the dirt and the dust. And this is for washing it off. It just happens to also wash everything off insects. But you have to use a dilute solution. You have to expose the insect to it very sparingly. And it has some other side effects that make it, to me, even more valuable than it is as a cleaner. My favorite way to use it is with really small dried insects. Typically this will be tiny beetles, tiny flies, things with long legs, not spiders though. And what I'll do is I'll dip it in a 4 or 5% solution for a few seconds, dunk it in and pull it out, and then I will vigorously rinse it after that. That is all the exposure a little insect needs to Decon 90. The reason this has come up is there's a YouTuber, a macro photographer who wrote a tweet the other day about putting this stuff in a syringe with a tiny wasp, and then pulling the plunger back so that the Decon 90 would be absorbed into the tiny wasp. I haven't done that. I mean, I would never be able to get to the pulling the plunger part back, because this stuff will cause it to just fall apart in front of your eyes. So I'm not exactly sure. Maybe he doesn't have good Decon 90, or he's got it diluted way down, but I'm not quite sure what he was doing that for, because it was a dried wasp he was putting in the syringe. But what I use it for is treating eyes, restoring eyes. It is fantastic for eyes and the shiny surfaces of some bees and wasps, well, and beetles too. It just cleans like nothing you've ever seen before. I put it on with a Q-tip, a long wooden Q-tip, and then as soon as I've got it everywhere I want it, including on the joints, I dunk it in the water. Then I'll put it in soapy water and then water again. And by the time I get it out and start to dry it, its appendages are limp. You can see that if you'd left it in another minute, they'd just fall off. So it's to be used sparingly. Decon 90. If somebody wants to donate some, do so, and I will distribute it. If somebody wants some, as soon as I announce it, let me know, and I will get some to you. Any questions about Decon 90 or the Micro Mate? No. Susan, hello. How are you? Were you over on the other video tonight and stirring up trouble over there? I don't think so. I think it was from last week. Okay, so I was explaining to Walter. Walter said it would be helpful if I took the name recording off the announcement page, the artwork. I can't do that. YouTube does not allow you to have live stream on your artwork unless you also have recording, because the artwork that I'm using there is going to be the cover for the recording. And I can't have it as live stream because that's false advertising. It says that I'm doing a live stream and people will come to it expecting it to be live and see a recording. So I haven't figured out a way to do it because there is no gap between me ending this live stream and that thing becoming a video. I can't edit that at that point. Well, I can edit the words in it, but I don't think I can edit the artwork. And anyway, you don't want me to have to do that, do you? It'd be very complicated. Anyway, I took the word recording out of the Macro Talk label for this week, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be confusing anyway because I try to have several in advance, but we'll get this all sorted out. Tell you something that thanks to Jamie Walters, I have gone from having everything crammed onto a little screen and not being able to see what I'm doing to having a veritable panel of screens in front of me. I feel like I'm in that Wall Street movie. I've got Lightroom on one screen. I've got YouTube on one. I've got OBS on one. I've got something else on that. Oh, Patreon. Fantastic. It's wonderful. It makes everything I do easier now. And this particularly, I can see everything that's going on and even read the messages. This is superb. Greetings, Gary, Gilles, and Bruce. Good day, Bruce. Or good tomorrow, Bruce. And Daniel, welcome. Back from White Rock. Is it snowing up there? It must be. It's skiing season. Good evening, Patrick. Good to see you again. Phil, it has stopped raining. I heard that. I heard you had the worst month in wet weather history in California this last month. Serves you right for living in such a nice place. Let me see. Who did I forget? Hang on a sec. Gary, you're in southeast South Carolina. That's the bottom right. You're on the coast? Brunswick? No, that's Georgia. Charleston. You in Charleston? That would be nice. I like that. I like that town. Let me see. Andrew said hi. Thanks for doing the sound check for me. John in Northern Ireland. Correct? I think so. And Robert Wester from Ocala, Florida. Robert, you great fellow, you donated this beautiful, beautiful stepping motor for a project I'm doing. This thing is the smoothest, quietest, most powerful motor I've ever owned, thanks to Robert. And Robert is the gentleman who you need to thank for the prizes for the competition, because he has almost single-handedly got us covered until the end of time, or at least the end of the year, which is fantastic. And boy, have I got some good prizes for you. And I've got something else about the competition that I was going to announce tonight, but I can't because I've got to check it out with one other person. But yeah, I can give you a hint. No, I better not. I'll wait till I've talked to the other person. I don't want to get in trouble. So where were we? We were thanking Robert for his generosity. Robert, I haven't tried the smaller motor yet, but it looks fantastic too. Thank you. Photographer 85. Oh my goodness, 4 o'clock in the morning or something over there, is it not? Well, I'm glad we're coming over loud and clear. Stay awake for us. Paul, greetings. And Alex, you don't sound like you're from France, but I'll take your word for it. Whereabouts in France? You told us last week, the south, I think. Jim Heaton, greetings from the great state of Alabama. Yep. And he goes on to say some nonsensical thing about Tuscaloosa and a football match or a football team. I don't know what that is. Crimson Tide. I never heard of it. My wife was an alumnus of that university, as were many of my friends. So I'm just going to ignore it, though. I've never been to a football game. Laura, greetings. I'm glad you made it. Allan, or Allan, bonsoir from Quebec. And Bud Parrott, greetings, sir. I tried to call you this evening. There was a hitch, though. My phone doesn't know your number, or my car doesn't know your number. So I'll have to call you after this. But there is, I haven't talked to Bud about this either, so I'm going to go out on a limb here and make an announcement that Bud and I are going to be doing the next Photoshop live stream. We're going to do it differently, though. Here's what's going to happen. Because of the fact that I have not been able to find a solution for the OBS plus Zoom plus sound situation. Just take my word for it. It's not possible. It's like, it can't be done. It can't be done and me not have a heart attack. So what we're going to do is this. Bud and I are going to record the session. We're going to record us doing the same work we would have done here live. Then I am going to come on here live and play it and answer your questions as it plays. How does that sound? That's going to be freaky because I'll be on in 2 places, but that's what we're going to do. I think it'll work, and it'll be a stopgap measure until I decide what we can do, what other platform we can use, so that Bud and I can be together and do this thing the way we had envisioned it being done. But for the time being, we decided we'd rather get you the information in a different way than just keep waiting for it. So all we've got to decide is the day, and you want to pick a day and let me know, Bud? By all means. I mean, we could decide right here and right now, because this needs to get done. Can't be this week, though. Got 2 videos to do. All right, moving on. Questions, guys, questions. Remember, you need to flag my name so that I can see that it's a question. Like Phil did. He said, is Decon expensive, and what is the source? Yes, it is expensive, on the order of, I think, $50-something for a liter. But that is, if you just kept it for yourself and used it all yourself, this is 2 lifetimes worth of macro photography in a liter, because you use a small amount and you're using a 2% solution. So I mean, a cc of this fills a 10 cc bottle, which lasts me a month. So it goes a long way. $50, and you get it from Electron Microscopy Services or Sciences in Hartfield, Pennsylvania, and Amazon is where you go. It has a very unprepossessing photograph that just says Decon 90 that looks like somebody did it in crayon, but that's the place. And they deliver quickly in great Nalgene bottles. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Al is giving compliments to Bruce, and I'm going to call that out as being a very good idea. Bruce is the gentleman that came on and showed us how to shoot bees in flight and bees on granddaughters, and he's a cracking good photographer. And yeah, this year he hasn't had any bees. He scared them all off last year, but he's photographing wasps, and let me tell you, he's got some fantastic pictures. Bruce, if you would tell us in the chat where people can see them, I bet there are 44 people who would love to take a look. In fact, if you put it in chat, I'll bring it up on the screen and show them right now. Can you do that? Yeah, do that. Or text it to me. Email it to me. I'll keep my phone handy, and then I'll put it up on the screen. All right, so where was I? Yeah, Bud. Bud's going to give us a date, or Bud and I will decide on a date. And Andrew has got himself a mint condition PB6 bellows from Japan on eBay. Well done. Good for you. You will never regret that purchase. Now, somebody got in touch with me the other day in Europe to say that they have not been able to find a PB6 bellows in Europe for under 350 euros. That is twice what you'd pay for it over here, even getting it from Japan near mint condition shipped over here. So their question for me was, should I get the PB4 or the PB5? The answer is the PB4 is a fantastic device. It has a tilt shift functionality built into the front element of the bellow. It's not as well made, in my opinion. It's not as sturdy, and it has a tiny bit of rotational twist because of the double rods that it uses. But it's probably the second best bellows, maybe the third after the NovaFlex thing, which is stunningly gorgeous piece of equipment. But don't get the 5. The 5 just was a mistake, I think. It doesn't have any of the bells and whistles, and it's not as sturdy. In a pinch it'll do, I suppose, but the order should be a 6 or a 4 or a NovaFlex if you're a billionaire, trillionaire. Yeah, if you're a trillionaire, buy everybody a NovaFlex, and you'll feel so good about yourself. So you're going to love that, Andrew. I use it every day. I just never get tired of it. It's so beautifully made. Anaphylaxis, I was talking about you just the other day. And yeah, in regards to your name, which I think is utterly brilliant. And you're a soap maker. And you have what? Decon? You have Decon? You make Decon 90 soap? How do you keep people's skin on? Oh, probably dilute. Well, that's interesting. Tell me about that. Yeah. Are you sure you don't mean a soup maker? I didn't know people made soap anymore. I thought that was you just bought soap. Anyway, Bruce comment. He says, "Oh no, he's talking to Al, not me." You see, my name's Al too. So well, it's not. It's Alan, but I thought he was talking to me. He's not. Send me the wasp, and I'll show it publicly. Do it now. You've got half an hour. All right. Where was I? Macro, everything around me. Are you off early this evening, sir? Normally you're traveling at this time, like so many of you on your way home. So you just got your fish tank back in order, good, and you caught some baby dragonflies, tadpoles, minnows, and tiny crayfish. You know that you won't have any of those last 3 things left if you put a baby dragonfly in there, right? But baby dragonflies have jaws that shoot out their body length in front of their body with teeth that eat all of the things you just put in there with them. And it'll eat them just immediately. It'll be fun to watch, but yeah, you won't have 4 things to list next week, I guarantee it. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah, the Japanese. What happened was a lot of people bought up Japanese stock in some of the higher end, well, some of the nicer studio equipment as they stopped making it. So there are people over there that are sitting on bellows and enlarger lenses and all kinds of stuff, even technical lenses like the copy lenses, the print lenses that the filmmakers use. And these things are sitting in boxes for years and years and years with the paperwork and everything, and they're selling them when people ante up the money. So sometimes you can get basically a brand spanking new bellows from Japan, and I've just never heard of anybody having a problem with them. Not so with some other countries, mind you. Okay, enough of that. Susan says no. Okay. That was to my question, were you over at the other video? That's good, I'm glad. All right, Alistair, welcome, glad you made it. And yeah, and I was correct, Northern Ireland, fantastic. Do I use special water with Decon 90? No, you mean deionized water, or I use distilled water, but I don't know why. I don't think it would make any difference. There's nothing in here that would react to anything in tap water. I mean, I'm using it to clean bugs in soapy water. So yeah, I don't put anything fancy in there, and I just have a couple of jugs of water that have lasted forever. So we answered the question about the cost. And Photographer 85 wrote the question, thought, nope, I am not asking that. So we unwrote it and then wrote it again in just a minute. We'll get to that. It's Bluffton, South Carolina, where Hilton Head is. Yep. I know it well. I was in Columbia, South Carolina for many years. And I have a spawn, a son of mine is in your area. Small world, isn't it? All right. Duex. I'm not familiar with the company. That's not the same as Durex, I don't think, which is an altogether different subject. Don't confuse the two. But yeah. So they must they sell it. Is that what you're saying? That Alex, that you can buy it in England? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in England, so I'm not going to get it from there. Well, I could. No, I won't. So let me see. Photographer 85. Very easy to stay awake. Your live streams are never boring. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's quite a compliment. How is your comparison of the short focus microscope lens and the L nickel coming along? It's come along. It's finished. It's done. The photographs are 90% of the way done. I have got them all stacked. I have looked at them pixel at a time, and all I have to do is edit the video, and I'm going to make it a short video because the pictures are going to speak for themselves. So very very close. I'm not allowed to say an actual time because then something will come up and it won't be that time. It'll be a day later, and I'll get in trouble from the people that are responsible for getting me in trouble. But soon, the work has all been done. And you know, short focus of any of these lenses is any of these Mitutoyo lenses, and a lot of infinity conjugate lenses, is always a bit of a breathtaking surprise when you see these things at the kind of resolution that you apparently are getting when you short focus. It's very, very striking. You'll see it in the photographs. I think I showed one of the images in something I published. I can't remember what, just as a teaser. I'll find that image and I'll put it up so that you can at least see what one of them looks like. I'm not going to tell you which one it is though, because I didn't say that in the place where I released it. Are you confused? Don't be confused. Just hang with me for a second. You know what? I might move this. Should I do that? Because I'm kind of looking over this way where the microphone is. Yeah, I'll do this. This is easier for me to see. One day, I am going to figure out how to get another camera so we can have 3 or 4 cameras and you can get a different angle so you're not just looking at one part of my beard all the time. So I'm looking for one of the images from the study, and I have to show it to you in a way that doesn't give away what it is. I mean, you'll know what it is insect wise, but I don't want you to see the name of the picture. Just chat amongst yourselves while I find it. You know what? I might not show you because I don't think I can do it without showing you the... Oh, I know where it is. I'll show you the JPEG. Would that be okay? Okay, this is the fun part of the live stream where you get to watch me looking at my computer and doing stuff. Allison, if you are on the... I don't think you are, but if you are on... I'm sorry, I forgot to send you the pictures of my microscope this morning, but I have them in the phone and I am going to send them this evening. So where did I put these pictures? I put them in this file. Okay. Let me see. I had a crash of, not Zerine, of Lightroom the other day, trying to send pictures to Zerine. And I was asking Rick about it, and he said, well, just send me your log of your Lightroom activity to Zerine. It keeps a track of every time you send something over or get something back. And I didn't know that, so I've never looked at it. And I got the file to send it to him, and it was like, it was so big that I had to put it in a Dropbox thing. It wouldn't go in the email. It wouldn't fit. It was just too big. All right, so I'm not going to look for this for much longer because I can't remember what I named the video. Yes, I can. Here it is. All right, which one shall I show you? Bear with me. Okay, here it is. This I'm going to show you this without the... Hang on, I'm going 2 screens over. I'm going to show you this without the title, I hope. I don't think I can, guys. I can't get rid of the title from the top. I am sorry. After all of that. If you promise not to look at the top left, I'll show it to you, okay? Here it comes. Don't look in the top left-hand corner at the writing. The only thing that's difficult about having all these screens is not knowing where my cursor is. It can be, don't look on the top left, and that's one of the test pictures, okay? The whole video is going to be based on a series of test pictures that I did using very, very rigorous control of the conditions so that they are really as close as you're going to get to a realistic comparison of the 2 lenses at 3x. That's all I'm going to show you, but for anybody who was straining not to look at what that was. Yeah, it's going to be good. I've got some questions I need to answer. So that's the answer to that question, Photographer 85. And no decon on Amazon, US or Canada, according to Al. Cheap in the UK at £16 a litre. Are you sure, Al? Because this came in an Amazon box. Maybe, oh, hang on a second. Maybe Alan got this somewhere else and put it in an Amazon box. Don't know. I'll ask him. I just heard a musical chime. I don't know what it was. It happens several times a day, and obviously somebody's trying to get in touch with me, but I don't know what makes that noise, so sorry. All right, so apparently it doesn't exist. And GTTT Twin Cam from Norway, no sleep for you. So are you in the middle of your 6 months of nighttime over there, or daytime? What is it exactly? Nighttime. That sounds horrible, having nighttime for half the year. So I'm glad you stayed up and joined us. Any day next week except Groundhog's Day. Okay, I have no idea when that is or what that is. So let's do it on... you guys want to take a vote? We are going to do it next week. We're going to record it probably this weekend or something, but I'll do the live stream next week. How about Wednesday during the day? How does that sound to everybody, so that Europe can get a bit of the action? They didn't get any last time. So think about it. 2 o'clock on Wednesday. If that sounds good to you, give it a thumbs up or make an alternative offer. If 2 o'clock on Wednesday happens to be Groundhog's Day, let me know and we'll do something else. All right, so I'll have to look that up. Don't have any wasp images anywhere except on your computer. Okay, well, there you go. Then we can't see them. That's a shame. Next week, by next week, Bruce will send me some wasp pictures and I will put them on the live stream and we will ooh and ah over them. Bruce, are you up for that? Send me half a dozen wasp pictures to show off, and because everybody wants to know what you're up to. So let's do that. All right. What other rails than the PB4 has the tilt on the front? Okay. Well, it's a bellows, not a rail. You'd still need a rail to use it for focus stacking. And none of the other Nikon bellows have a tilt shift on the front. I bought a tilt shift adapter that goes on the front from Kipon, Kipon. They're fairly expensive, but they're beautifully made, and it converts it. See, the thing is, the PB6 allows you to turn the front standard around so that you can attach very specific lenses, 50mm D lenses primarily, which are fantastic reversed. So they have that benefit, but they don't have the tilt shift. No other Nikon does. Novaflex does. The Novaflex bellows has a tilt shift. Probably has other things too. All right. Oh, hang on. Here's somebody. Oh, it's Photographer 85 again. He's used the Novaflex bellows. They won't let me touch them. Yeah, you used the big Bal Pro 1. Very nice. It broke? The metal parts are generally well made, but the bellows feel very cheap. Well, that's the first I've ever heard of that. Wow, that's interesting. I'll put that in my a box of useful facts when I'm trying to decide whether or not to buy $1,000 set of blue bellows. I don't think it's going to happen, but yeah, that's interesting. Okay, Amy, I'm glad you made it. Were you driving tonight? I was talking to somebody else who was home early, but you're home late today. Glad you made it. All right. Amy, I may have my EL Nikkor 2.8 mounted backwards on the bellows. Do you have the? Let me get the lens just to make sure that you know what I'm saying. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. You said 2.8, not 2.8N. Okay, this is the 2.8. This is the one that is all metal. It doesn't have the plastic scalloping. If you have mounted it correctly, this part where the writing is where the filter would screw goes on the bellows or on the extension tubes. This part with the grey collar faces the subject. And that's where your hood should be. Now, if you have it that way and you're getting soft pictures, it is almost certainly because these lenses are not coated. That's why you want the N if you can possibly get it. If you don't have a hood on this and it's not coated and it's picking up light off axis, you are getting a loss of contrast softening. The other possibility is you're shooting at too high an aperture or too small an aperture and too long extension. If you're trying to shoot this at 4 times magnification, which is about 200 millimeters, and you have it on f/16, your actual aperture or your effective aperture is going to be around 70 or something, and that's no good. I mean, you want to keep it under 20. So yeah, I shoot at 5.6, and with this I use a lens hood to protect the end. If you've got it mounted this way around, that would also be soft on extension, so it needs to be backwards. The wide end facing the camera, the skinny end facing the subject. Is that what you're doing? Let me know down below. We need to get that sorted out, because this is my go-to lens. Until very recently, possibly, this was my favorite lens. If I could only have one lens, it would be this. Because from 1.5 to 1 up to about 5 to 1, really 4.5 to 1, there isn't anything sharper, flatter, brighter. I'll tell you one thing though that surprised me. It shouldn't have surprised me, but it did. When I was using the Elnickle f2.8N and shooting a series of images at 3x. Well, actually, I did the shots with the Mitu Toyo 5x on short focus with the DCR 250. Now, when I did that, the images looked great, but when I put this lens on, they were dark. I mean, a lot less light was getting through this than was getting through that objective, which was really quite surprising. I mean, I had to add quite a bit of power to the flashes every time I went back to the enlarger. You wouldn't think that, but anyway. So yeah, your D75 GT twin cam, sorry, is definitely going to work beautifully on the PB4. Good bellows, you'll like them. So did that answer, Amy, if that did not give you the answer that you were looking for, stick around after this, or send me an email and I'll deal with it. We'll get it fixed one way or the other. What does short focus mean? That's a great question. All right. When we talk about short focus, what we're talking about is using a lens, an objective lens, with a relay lens of a shorter focal length than it's designed to be used with. And in so doing, we're reducing the amount of magnification that we're getting from the objective lens, but we are increasing the sharpness of the image because we haven't changed the on-subject resolution. We've only changed the on-sensor resolution. So what we're doing, it's like you're taking a super detailed picture and then you're moving away from it. You're walking further back and looking at it and saying, yeah, it looks even sharper from back here. I can't see it, but it looks sharper. That's what you're doing with short focus. You're in the case of the specific case that we've been doing, we take our usual relay lens, which is a backward mounted DCR 150 from Raynox. So it would be mounted like this, backwards, camera this way, and this way to the Raynox. It would be like this, and we're taking this out and we're putting in a very similar looking lens, the DCR 250, which only has a focal length of 125 millimeters, and we're turning it around the other way. What this basically does is it makes the magnification go from 5x to 3x. 125 being the key number here. It's just the ratio of the focal length of the objective, which is 40 millimeters, and the focal length of this, which is 125. So your 125 divided by 40 gives you a little over 3, and that's your magnification, right? That's how you calculate the magnification. And what were we talking about? What did you ask me? Yeah, what is short focus? That's what short focus is. The key to doing it well is when you put your short focus relay lens on. That is a lens of shorter focal length. You need to actually find where its infinity focus is, which means you need to take the objective off and go outside, or go into your bowling alley if you have one in the basement, and focus on the pins at the end. just using the relay lens and the bellows to change the distance. When you get the pins in focus, that is where you are set at infinity focus with your lens, and leave it there forever and just add your objective in front of that and you're set. That's what short focus is. It is a trick for getting massively sharp pictures with half the magnification, which sometimes is exactly what you want. If you haven't done it, do it with your CFI Plan 10X, do it with your key optic thing, the big old gigantic objective, do it with any Mitutoyo you have. It works with all of them. And the relay lens you use is kind of important in that not all lenses make good relay lenses, and for the longest time the DCR 250 really didn't make that good a relay lens because we were using it wrong. We were reversing it just like we do with the DCR 150. But it was Rick that brought to my attention a couple of weeks ago that he'd been experimenting with it the normal way around, and I'd read about it done that way, but I haven't really tried it in years. And I did, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So if you're one of those folks that went out and ordered a DCR 250, experiment with every finite objective you've got. You will find yourself wanting to shoot lower magnification. I'll bet. All right, let me see. I've got questions backing up here. No, they're not questions. They're just things. Let me see. So have I tried to short focus the 10x objective? Yes, indeed. And it is probably the sharpest 5x, other than maybe the Mitutoyo 5x, which is pretty darn sharp. But yeah, it makes a great short focus lens. Right, Amy, what aperture are you using, and are you focus stacking? So f5.6, yes, and you're stacking. Well, that's what I do. But do you have it backwards? 5.6 could be too much for higher magnifications. Yes, it could, but you know, that's a great question or a great statement. Why would you not go wide open to f2.8 if you're using it at 5x? I find that you're going to lose image quality with aberrations when you get below about 5.6. I don't think this lens performs very well at f4. So I try to. I say in most of the stuff I've written about this that I use it up to 3.5, and the reason is if I go much above 3.5, I really need to close the aperture down, and that open the aperture up, and that introduces aberrations. So yeah, everything's a trade-off in macro. You're either going to get the aberrations, or you're going to get softening from diffraction. So it's one or the other. It's always going to get you. All right, so where was I? Somebody's buying, John is talking about Decon 90 in the UK for £16. I'd check that and make sure it's the real McCoy. That sounds awfully cheap. Anyway, yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, Photographer 85. I do agree that 5.6 might be a bit much if you're pushing that lens, but yeah, it's Amy jumps to my side to say, well, that's what Allan says, and yeah, I do. I stand by that. Right, Phil and Andrew are getting into it here. It's using. Oh no, this is Phil answering Andy's question, and he says the same thing I did. Yep. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Everybody's happy, and we're moving on. It is mounted backwards, and it is the 2.8N. Do you have a hood on it? Aperture 5.6 covered with black tape and a series of rings as a hood. Are the rings flocked? That can be actually putting rings a stack of rings like I have done in videos that aren't flocked can worsen the problem. You get reflections off the shiny inner surfaces. If you don't have flocking, either an adhesive flocking or just a cardboard matte black tube, consider doing that. If that doesn't work, get in touch with me and let's sort that out, because it upsets me no end to hear that somebody's having a problem with that lens. You shouldn't have a problem with that lens. It's possible that it's a bad lens, I guess. I've never heard of that, but it could be. Have you, what was I going to say? What magnification are you using it at? What are you, how much extension? That might be important too. All right, Bud has the PB4, which has 4 rails, not 2. Much sturdier than the PB6. Disagree. It's the way the 4 rails are all drilled through these 2 plates. There's that motion in there. The one I had was really wobbly, but it had also been beaten up pretty bad. Not arguing, not disagreeing, just 2 different opinions. So the sun is coming back over the mountains for 30 minutes a day. You have 30-minute long days, and you're not mad, or are you mad? I mean, that's always possible. I would be within a week. Couldn't deal with that. All right. So where are we? Phil answered that one, and lots of thumbs up. That's good. 2 to 3 times. No, you have literally ruled out everything I can think of that would cause softening, unless you have. Is your sensor clean? That shouldn't do it. Is the lens clean? Has it got any yeast? Has it got any fungus growing in it? All these things need to be looked at now, and the flocking, of course. All right, Bruce and Al are just having a chit chat over in the corner. We'll just leave them be while they do that. And not going to get into the using the f4 for the 2x. I mean for the 3x. Nope, definitely not going there. All right, so I think we've covered all of that, and I'm clueless. Well, I'll think about it. And Photographer 85 now thinks that it is probably due to a 61 megapixel sensor. We didn't talk about the camera, did we? Sounds yeah, high resolution camera, but at 3x. At 5.6, I don't think that would be visible. No, I need to think some more about that. All right, so there is another question. Okay, it was Amy saying she's going to try the flocking. Try the flocking and try going to f4. I guess there really isn't a solution other than that for now. You know, the question, it's too late for me to get into it, but Amy says, would it be a good idea to go to a crop frame camera? You know, this argument has been bashed around in macro circles forever. I love full frame cameras. I mean, I absolutely love my D850, and out in the wild with a macro lens, I wouldn't want anything different. I wouldn't want anything different for anything else I do with a camera. The one place that I think it causes more problems than it fixes for me is on the rail. It is these high megapixel large sensor cameras. First of all, it's hard to find lens assemblies that are going to get you full coverage. Second, they are beasts for picking up every little facet of a photograph, which can be a very good thing or a very frustrating thing if your photographs are not absolutely perfect. It shows everything, and if you have a problem that's relatively insignificant on a smaller sensor camera, it can be a big deal on a full frame. I don't stack full frame because of those and other issues, but I started not using it mainly because I want that camera for everything else that I do. I want to use it for videos and everything else, and I don't have two full frame cameras, so that's just what makes sense for me. But after years of doing it, I would just stick with either a mirrorless or a DSLR APS-C camera. I think it gives the best results. It does for me. And you've seen some of my results. You've seen some good photographs that I've taken, a few of them, that have all been APS-C. I just think it's a better tool for the job. Just my opinion. All right. And Amy is reminding you, and I will remind you because she always reminds me, could you give me a thumbs up? I don't know why. Why is that, Amy? But anyway, she says if you give a thumbs up, that is registered as a good thing. All right. Thank you, Amy, as always. Oh, you've been using a GFX camera. Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't realize you were using that ginormous camera. That might be part of the problem. Interesting. Okay. Well, you're going to like that Sony A6000 though. That's a nice camera. So what time is it? Oh, it's 9 o'clock already. For crying out loud. These hours go by in a twinkling. All right. Let me see if there's anything I've missed. Chris, I never said hi to you. Hi. You were given an EL Nikkor 50 f2.8N, and it has some cloudy, hazy glass. Don't clean it. Don't clean it. It is best, first of all, shoot some test shots with it. I don't have mine handy. This is the non-N, but my N has got a scratch across the front of it that if it was a car, I'd have taken it back. I mean, it's a deep gouge in the glass. You can never see it. It doesn't have any effect. I put a little black ink in it, and it's never caused a problem. You can have some pretty shocking stuff going on the front of the lens and it not be an issue. But what you don't want to do is scrub those delicate coatings off. And I've seen that happen. So go very gently. Start with the most gentle cleaning when you do. You might want to get in touch with me and send me a picture of that, Chris. Did you get it online from I guess it's already gone too far to send it back. Yeah, just don't jump on it with a chamois leather and petrol or anything, because you'll lose your coatings. Bruce, yes, I think that's what Amy does mean, Bruce, is to click the thumbs up icon at the bottom of the screen. That's right. I think that's what it is. I don't see it on mine. I have a smiley face though. Maybe that's what it means. I don't know. But you know, when you do stuff like that, it makes me show up in search engines. They tell me. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen a difference. Well, I guess I have compared to 5 years ago, but yeah, so do the thumbs up if you would, the one at the bottom. And if you accidentally press the $sign, that's okay. Just put a number, any number, in the box and forget about it until your wife says something to you, and then I'll explain. So yeah, let me know, Chris. If that doesn't do it, then there must be something else going on. A good place to take that is over to Discord and see if any of the folks over there have experienced the same problem. You can share the picture. I'll come over and look at it over there, and Bob's your uncle. That is also a good place for Bruce. to share a wasp if you find one, Bruce. Share a wasp over on Discord. Let the good people see it. Has everybody turned in their mineral picture? You know what the prize is. No, you don't, because I haven't announced it. It's massive. But you've got to have a picture of a mineral. And whoever sent me a can of tuna, that's not a mineral. Even the can is not a mineral. Not what we mean by mineral. It's a rock is a mineral, you know. Or a shiny rock or a sparkly rock is fine. But a can of tuna, that's more a food stuff. Save that for the food one. Okay, so where were we? So we're straight on the icon at the bottom. Macro everything around me has gone home. Amy 5 is taking care of feeding the algorithms, and oh, you got it from a friend. Oh, that's a problem, Chris. Go beat him up. That'll take care of it. And that's it. We're about done for the evening. Thank you for coming. Thank you for making this so much fun. I do look forward to this so much. If you're at Loose Ends on Thursday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we do this again, only I'm wide awake. And yeah, we do it for our European friends. Though now, as I know, it's nighttime the whole time over there, we probably don't have to do that. And then I will come up with a day for us to do the Photoshop, and then the day for the live stream. So you'll get the video as a live stream with me, and possibly also with Bud there to answer your questions. Have I forgotten anything? I don't think so. I don't think so. Gary, peace. Good night, Robert. Thanks for coming. There's minerals in water, and there's water in the can of tuna. That was you? No, that wasn't your can of tuna, was it, GT Twin Cam? It was pretty nasty looking. See you, Bruce. Don't forget the wasps. All right, everybody's thumbed up, and I am hasta luego. Is that a kind of back pain? I don't think so. Yeah, it does go fast, Phil. You should be sitting on this end. It just rockets by. Okay, good night all. See you on Thursday. If not, then next Patreon get together is next Saturday, not this Saturday. But I've got videos coming out, so see you in them. Take care, be well, adios. I can't find my cursor. Oh, there it is. It was way over on the left. Okay, see you later.